So, hello and welcome back to our part 2 of Twitter sentiment analysis. My name is Ajay Naik.
And I'm Manasvi Priyadarshi.
And in this webinar, we are going to continue where we left in the part 1. So, Manasvi, tell us a little bit about what we covered in the part 1.
So in part 1, we saw how to create a HANA development environment, how to create a project, how to link it with your HANA system, and like how to keep it in sync with our HANA system so that we can actually access it from our HANA dashboard. So after doing that, we created tables, we loaded data into it, and the data that we loaded into it, we kind of wrote a Python script for it that kind of got all the data from Twitter.
Yeah, so basically to make it clear, we use the hashtag Logan and Oscar and extracted about 8,000, 9,000.
About 8,000 tweets.
Yeah, so about 8,000 tweets. And then we put that in SAP HANA system. We use manual way of loading those tweets.
Yes.
To extract these tweets, we used the Python scripts.
Yes.
And now the data is there in the Linux system. I think we extracted using the Linux, I think, because your machine was Linux. So,
yeah.
So we ran the script there and then we loaded the data. And then we also queried those data from our HANA system using SQL. And then we were getting the values which we now have to show in UI5 application.
Yes. So like we can quickly go ahead and recap what we did like in the HANA system itself.
Yeah.
We can run the SQL queries and we can see how we get the data.
Yeah.
So let me just close all these windows. So we can go to the systems tab here and like we'll select the HANA system and we'll go to the SQL tab right here so that it opens an SQL query for us.
Yeah.
And we can just go ahead and like write that SQL script that gives us the data. So to do that, we are just going to use the select keyword, select count star from the table name basically. So Nayak A dot workshop.
So Nayak A is the schema name which we have written here.
Session A dot 03. This was our package name that we created. As you can see right here, we have these data loaded. So like every table name is appended with kind of the package name that we have given. So as you can see here, it's workshop.session.a.03.data, and then we have the table name negative.
Yeah.
So we'll have tweets here, the tweets table, and we have also selected the positive table. So workshop dot session a dot 03 dot data. I'm sorry, I missed a dot data here. And then maybe we can have the positive table first.
Yeah.
Okay. So we also need to specify where locate.
So we are using a join from all the tweets which we have. We are finding out how many of the tweets are having any of the positive words. It's a dictionary sentiment analysis. So this is a join which we have to write here. And what it is doing is searching, like it's combining kind of a VLOOKUP. You do in Excel, and then we are doing it in HANA, and the data is a little higher than what you have normally in Excel sheet. And any words which matches, it will give us a count.
Yeah, exactly. So we are locating in which tweets are we getting these words that we have in the positive table. If the number of occurrences of those words in that specific tweet is greater than 0, then we are taking a count of it, like +1. So if I run it, it would give me a count. It's giving me 308.
Yeah.
So if I look up from a positive table, and if I go ahead and look into all our tweets, that is like almost 667 to be exact, then we are getting the number of tweets with positive sentiments are 308.
So the number of tweets were about, we can see the table itself, I think.
Yes.
So if we see the table here.
So we can open the data preview.
And if we see the distance value here. Yeah.
So if we just have a look into the texts, so these are the values here.
Yeah. So I think there are more than 8,000 tweets which we loaded in the previous.
Yes.
So it's querying all the 8,000. Your tweet can really be a lot. It can be in
millions
and
billions.
And you can even have a direct integration with the APIs of the Python where they're pushing the tweets in the real time whenever someone is tweeting with the hashtag mention.
Yes.
It will just put those tweets values in your HANA table. Always make sure you are not recording any of the user who is doing this operation, because that then will
kind of violate
the privacy law of the Twitter. Yeah.
Yes.
So securing in sense of legality as well. Okay. So
just to give a feel of it more, we can also have a look into the negative sentiments.
Yeah.
So I'll just run the SQL query again with the negative table, and as you can see, it is giving me a count of 75.
Yeah.
Now you might think that the counts are very less, and why is it so? So the thing is, we have loaded just 4 keywords each in positive and negative tables, so it is highly possible that not all of them matches with all of the tweets.
Exactly.
So as you enter more and more number of keywords there, you'll be able to determine a lot more of tweets from these.
So maybe we can have a look at the final app which we will be building by end of this webinar. So this is the final app which is running.
This is the final app that we have made. So as you can see, we have a KPI tile here, 2 KPI tiles basically. So we have one of them which kind of shows us how many tweets have got the positive sentiment and how many tweets have got the negative sentiment. So we can also add some of our own keywords here that would add those keyword into our positive or negative table depending on which of these input boxes I'm putting it in.
So we can go ahead and add some in the positive one and like
say in the positive sentiment I kind of add hilarious maybe, and if I press enter,
there's no change because there was no mention. Maybe happy, you can try happy, or happy is already there.
Happy is already there.
So
maybe glad.
Awesome, glad, you can use glad. Yeah, so
as you can see, it was updated, the positive sentiment. And similarly, if I put another negative word, then my negative sentiment tile would get updated.
Yeah, and you can also do a bulk load here of all the happy words and like positive words and negative words, and that's pretty much feasible. You can follow the same process of manual upload, or you can use the file upload where the services are going to put those data in the table. But this is the basic app which you can expand on with more features. Yes. So in this section, we are going to cover, first we will start with procedures. So if you, in this particular section, we are going to start with procedures. Yes. And once we have created procedure, we will find out how those procedures can be called using our xsjs services.
Yes.
Once xsjs services are able to get you those values, then we will be creating our UI5 front-end application, and we will be doing Ajax calls to these services.
Yes. So we can head back to our Eclipse development environment, and we can go ahead and start creating these things. So, well, I'll just remove them from here because I don't think we need it anymore. I'll just keep this SQL console here because I might be needing this SQL query. So it's easier for me to copy and paste from here.
Yes.
Writing it again.
So let's go there, and I can connect directly. Okay, so yeah, we are back in the SQL console.
So I'll just be keeping this SQL query here, so that I can just copy paste it.
Exactly.
So
the chances of getting an error is much higher. A small thing can really go wrong. So if you are using copy paste,
it's mostly the spelling errors here.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we had created these 3 tables: negative, positive, and tweets. And we had this xsjs file, which kind of told us what kind of authentication we need to. So what kind of authentication do we need to basically access these services?
Yeah.
Yes. And we also had another file called xsapp that kind of tells us that this is an XS project. So the next thing, as we already told, we'll be defining HTTP procedure here. Now procedures are nothing but SQL queries run automatically. If we call those procedures, those SQL queries will be run automatically whenever we call them.
So in a way,
it's kind of a function.
Exactly, that is the point. It's a function which runs a SQL queries. The SQL can be either native or OpenSQL. Native is like when any software vendors changes the SQL and redesigns it for their own purpose. That's called native. And open is it's what normal SQL is.
Yes.
So in this case, it will be native SQL because it's proprietary or specifically designed for run on SAP HANA. So let's design those services.
So you can just go ahead and right click on the data folder that we created last time, and we go to the new and we go to other. So here we can select procedure. So yeah, under SAP HANA we have database development and we have stored procedure written right here. So you can click on next and we can give it a name, the file name. So let's call it update procedure.
Yeah, so you're going to give value of your positive or your negative tweets to this procedure.
Yes.
And it is going to put that in that particular table.
And you also have to choose a target schema for it, and since the target schema here is Nayak A, so we are also going to select that here, and we can just click on finish and it will create a HTTP procedure right here. And as you can see, it gives us a kind of template where we can write our procedure logic.
Yeah.
So our procedure logic goes inside this begin and end
part.
Yes.
So they have already mentioned the comment, okay, you write your procedure here.
Yeah, exactly. So while writing this procedure, we will be needing 2 things basically. So 2 inputs. One would be the word that we will be updating in our positive or negative table, and another would be a choice basically, which will tell me whether to put it in positive table or the negative table.
So the same procedure can be used to update positive table or negative table, and the service call will really pass those values 0 or 1 based on what input user has selected.
You can also see we have the procedure name right here. So it's Nayak A workshop.session.a.03.data and then update. So update is the name of our procedure which we will be referring to while calling this procedure. And as you can see, we have a opening bracket and a closing bracket right here.
Yeah.
Inside this, we pass in those arguments. Those would be the input parameters. So to add those parameters here, what we need to do is first of all specify whether it is an input variable or an output variable. So for an input variable, you will be using in keyword, and for output, you will be using an out keyword. So since we need 2 inputs here, we'll be using in. And then you have to specify the variable name basically. So one of them can be the word. And since we stored in our database it as nvarchar, so we'll be specifying the data type right here, nvarchar. And then you have to tell how much length it should be. So I'm just choosing 40. Well, we can choose 10 or 20 depending on the size of the word. I'm just keeping it 40 for to be on the safe side basically.
Yeah.
And then we'll also have another input that would be the choice. So what choice would do is select whether it's positive or negative. So it is an integer. So we'll just have integer right here and we can save it. And then let's go ahead and start writing our actual query. Now, depending on this choice, I'll either put it into positive or negative table. So I'll use an if else construct here. So if okay, the way you refer to these input variables inside your procedure here is you put a colon in front of the variable name. So if choice equals 0, let's assign what would 0 do. So if choice is 0, then maybe I can put it into the negative table, and if the choice is 1, we will put it into the positive table.
Yeah, so normal if else condition in any programming language.
Yes.
So if, then else, and if. Okay, so this is the syntax which we have for a procedure.
So the SQL query would go inside this then statement. So it's like insert into, then you have to give your table name. So Nayak A dot workshop dot session A dot 03 dot data, and since we are putting into negative, so negative, then we have to put the values.
Yeah.
And as I said again, while referring to the input variables, we have to give a colon in front of the variable. So that's what we have done here. Else, let's put it into the positive one.
Also, we can also have a semicolon just to end this statement.
Yeah.
So never forget semicolon, comma,
yes,
and
semicolon kind of
in a BAP.
tells you where it ends.
Yeah.
Where the line ends. So it's always good to have a semicolon, even if the programming language tells you it's optional. So then we have end if. Also, you need to be sure about one thing. Whenever you create an SDP procedure, HANA by default makes it read only. And here we are kind of updating our table. So we need to make sure that this procedure is not read only. So as you can see, we have 3 lines here: language SQL script, SQL security invoker, and reads SQL data as. So if you remove reads SQL data, you'll be able to write your own update functions too. So be sure to remove that read SQL data if you are trying to update tables from within your procedure.
Yeah.
So we have saved it. We can just go ahead and
activate it.
So just take a second. Yes.
Yeah, so it's
updated. So what we can do is go to our console and also see whether it is working or not.
Yeah.
So we go to system. Let's put it into the positive table.
Yeah.
So we have this. Let's go ahead and open the data preview to see what values we already have. We don't want to put the same thing again. So we have happy, like, love, and appreciate.
Yeah.
So we can probably add glad here.
Yeah.
So if I open the SQL console again, and right here, Nayak A dot workshop dot session A dot 03 dot data, since it's inside our data folder, and then update, and we pass into variables. So the first one would be 1 because we are updating the positive table, and then we can also pass the string.
Yeah.
So it will be glad. I'm sorry. We did it the other way around.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we pass the parameters in the same order that we have created it.
Yeah.
We can just execute it.
So we need to say call procedure in before it. Yeah.
Call. Sorry. Since we are calling the procedure, we need to pull a call statement in front of it. Yeah. So it successfully executed here, as you can see right here. Statement call. This statement successfully executed, and we can just go back to our data and kind of reload it. Let's just close it and reload the data.
Also refresh it, but yeah, we can reload it to be just in the safe side.
Yeah, we can actually go ahead and refresh it. Refresh. Now it will take just a moment. Yeah. So once it has refreshed, we can open the data preview again. And it says 5 rows retrieved. And if we go to the distinct values and see,
we have
glad right there. So we know that our procedure is working perfectly fine. So we can just go ahead and put this procedure into our xsjs service.
So the xsjs service will be the endpoints for the UI5 app, and the xsjs service will be calling these procedures and putting the data within the HANA tables.
Yes. So we go back to our project, and we won't be putting that inside our data. So we'll be creating a new xsjs file. So we just go there, we go to file. Yeah, there are two ways of creating it. Either you can pre-select what kind of file you want to make. In that case, HANA would automatically append the file name, say SDB procedure or SDB table or xsjs. Or you can just go ahead and create a new file and append the after dot the name. Say I say xsjs file, and HANA development environment would automatically recognize what kind of file is it.
Yeah.
So we can just go ahead and create this file name. So update, since we are updating the dictionary here, so we can just call update dictionary dot xsjs. Click on finish. As you can see, we have the xsjs service created right here.
So this is a blank file for the service.
Yeah.
Now I think when you are doing the service development, you can get more information about the API reference, which we will be also giving you out within this video archived URL, and all of the syntaxes, even for the SQL, we will be giving out the API reference, which is there already in help.sap.com. And you will be able to, if you are doing any development, then how this variables or this syntax to be written, you can get more about on that particular documents.
Yes. So, well, let's go ahead and create our first xsjs file.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay. So, first of all, we'll have a body variable. So, this body variable would be what is returned whenever you call this service. And then we can have the data that will be returning as a response. You know, we'll be adding this data, a stringified form of this data into the body, like if we get the data. So we'll have result inside it, and depending on whether we are taking the positive sentiment or the negative sentiment, we'll populate this result. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is we are updating the dictionary here. We are calling it from the UI basically. So we have two input boxes here, right? So like whichever input box I am trying to call this service from, it will be sending me an ID, like which one to update, say 1 for positive, 0 for negative, and it will be giving me the word to. So we'll be getting these data, and that we will pass on to the SDB procedure from the UI itself.
Yeah. And then there will be nothing returned from this service. Maybe a 200 OK.
200 OK and the result basically.
Yeah.
So that we can update our UI.
Yeah.
Yes. So first of all, we'll have the ID or the choice basically. So we can just have variable ID equals $.request. You know, the request that has come, we are accessing it. So parameters dot get, and we can send it as an ID. Similarly, we'll have the word. So we can just copy this, paste it here, and we'll send the request for request as word here. Now also you need to remember that ID was an integer, and whatever data we get from the request URL, it is in a string form, so you need to convert it into number. And since this is basically a JavaScript file only,
so that's something which I love about the services, because it's JavaScript, and once you know JavaScript, then you will be a little comfortable to write those.
So yeah, we'll be converting it into a number basically in JavaScript. All you need to do is put it inside this number function. Or you can also use toNumber. You can use both of them. This is my personal preference.
Parse to int or something like that, but whatever works for now.
Whatever works for you. It's all your choice. So we are just going to check if we are getting a word or not, because if I just go into the input box and press an enter, it will send a service call. And if the length of the word, we can do it on the UI level too, we can do it in this service level too. It's better to
do it in both levels.
Both the places.
Because in that aspect, the debugging is much easy. Or maybe you are not calling the procedure unnecessarily if you are not really, you're taking care of that from a backend side, where you are making sure that if somehow the service is called with a blank data, then you do nothing.
You do nothing. Otherwise, a blank field would be updated in the SQL. So you would not want that.
So in real production scenario, those the test cases are a little higher. We are just kind of taking care that, okay, the length should not be equal to 0, or you can even have more logics or maybe a regex there that, okay, this kind of extra special characters someone cannot really put in the dictionary itself.
So then I'm going to write a try and catch statement. So it is going to try and call this procedure. If it fails, then we can catch the exception basically. So we'll have a few parameters. First of all, we need to open the connection to our SQL database. So we'll have a variable called con $.db.get connection. Okay, then we'll have the query. So the query would be the one that we are trying to call. This is the procedure. So the query would be call this. So inside this query, whenever you are using a double quote, make sure that you use an escape character before it. And instead of passing in the variables right here in the query, we'll be passing 2 question marks here.
And then we will be updating those question marks. Because these are parameters which will be dependent on your URL, plus this is the input, which will be a variable normally. And
on top of that, doing this kind of secures your code from SQL injection.
That's a main point, because then you are not actually passing anything which can really take out data from a database, or maybe kind of write some delete. So when you talk about SQL injection, so having question marks, you are just setting a string or an integer in terms of that question marks.
Well, then you have to make a variable that prepares this query call. So we'll have variable cst equals connection dot prepare call. Since we are calling this, so if this is a statement like a simple SQL statement, then instead of prepare call, you would write prepare statement. So prepare call, and then you'll pass in the parameter as query. And then what you need to do is set those parameters question mark into this query. So to do that, you say cst dot set string. Now the first one is string, so 1 comma word that we got right here, this one. And then you set the second parameter as cst dot set integer, because it is an integer, 2 comma id, because that's the second parameter basically. Then you are going to execute this call, and you'll kind of get a result set. So we'll have another variable called rs, that's result set, equals cst dot execute. So this will execute this query, and it will give me back a result set. And then you just have to say connection dot commit. After this, you'll be having an access to your result set. Now to actually get those data back, you have to call rs equals cst dot get result set. Okay. Then you have to run a while loop while rs.next. So we are kind of going forward on the result set that we just retrieved, and next is the way to go forward on it. And this is a one-way statement. You cannot go back on it. There is nothing called rs.previous or something like that. So rs.next will actually give me the variable, the data that we wanted. So data.result, the data that we have actually created here, would be rs.get integer 1. So this will populate my data field basically.
So basically, when you are executing this call where we are actually updating, but we are not returning anything. So what will be rs.next will contain then?
So rs.next would actually contain the actual value that we got after calling this statement.
Okay.
Yes. So then what you need to do is simply close all these connections. So rs.close, cst.close. You need to be sure about the order that you close it in, because CST is kind of dependent on connection, then RS is dependent on CST, so you close RS first and then the CST and then the connection.
And the connection.
So this will kind of give you the result that you want. And then we have the catch statement right here. If you get an error, then you just update the body right here
with a message that okay, what is the error which has happened,
and then you set the response status equals $net.http.bad request. So bad request is kind of 400 or 404.
Yeah. So it's a letter. It will be number which signifies what is a bad request equal to. So when you are using your services, you can actually take care of if you're doing an Ajax call, then in the error part you will be getting this bad request number. So you can identify actually that okay, something went wrong in the try section of my server. And there are a lot of fancy things which you will do actually when you are doing it for production, because then you have to be very clear that what is the error which happened, and your service is actually communicating when it is having some issues and not able to perform normally, or what it is actually designed to do. So because a UI developer will be using this and might not be going inside the debugging of the services or understanding okay, what went wrong. So as a backend developer, service developer, you have to take care, you send out proper response within the body and header as well. Okay, what went wrong, if anything went wrong, or if everything is good, then just return 200, which is okay.
Yeah.
So this is kind of basic thing. So not very fancy, but it is quite understandable.
I think I did some kind of a mistake here. Actually, we are just updating the database, so we won't be getting any result. This should come into my other procedure where we are actually retrieving the data.
Exactly, because if you are trying to access the RS next, even if you are using this code, you will be getting blank result.
You will be getting a null result. So we'll just put it into the other service call,
Yeah.
where we are actually calling for this SQL statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in a way, the only identifier which you will see within this service is if you are getting a error message in your response, in your AJAX call, that means the service was not able to execute properly, the procedure or the service call, there's some issue. But if you are not getting and you're getting a 200 okay, even I think the response dot status, you can put it 200.
Yes.
In a way, maybe. Or maybe you are not getting anything in your body, which means that it is okay. So
yeah, so we can just change it
to 200.
So
or you can actually write 200. Yeah,
we can directly write 200 here.
Yeah, and double quotes. Yeah,
Yes.
it's hard coding, but you can identify that in API documents that what is the success. It will be http.success.
I think it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So once we have updated our data, what we also need to do is like retrieve the result, the updated result, and send it back.
We can also test this service out, maybe just to call and like pass it out.
Yeah, actually we'll be needing to update the, okay, well, let's just save it and try doing it. It's showing me an error here, expected.
I think there's an end bracket missing.
Yeah, it expects it to be not double equal to. Sorry. Yeah. So that's kind of the benefit of using such an IDE for HANA development, because it points out these small errors that you might be getting. So what we'll also do here is activate this one. So just activate it. And we can just go ahead and call this xsjs service from our Chrome website.
Yeah.
So we can just take this one. This is our main HANA server. So we do this /workshop/ session A/03/ the name of our xsjs service. So it's update dictionary .xsjs, and we are also passing in the parameters. So id equals 1 and word equals, we can think of another positive word, say
Great. Great is already there.
Great is already there.
So awesome, maybe.
Awesome. Okay, we can just call it.
And then it will ask you for your login.
Yeah, because we gave the authentication here.
Yeah.
So login access is already provided here.
So this is something which you will get nothing because we have not
haven't put anybody here.
Yeah.
So as Ajay previously said, if we don't get anything, then
no news is a good news. In our case, it's like no news is good news.
Yes.
So there's no news, that means there's a good news. So the record has been updated.
Just go to system and see whether
refresh
updated the table. We can just go ahead and refresh it. You can also use the shortcut of F5 to refresh. So we can just go ahead and check it. It says 6 rows retrieved, and if I go to all the words, and as you can see, we have awesome right here. So we know that our xsjs service is working. Also, the next thing that we need to do is give me the updated result. So what you would probably want to do is make another service for it. But just to keep it simple, and just because we are getting to know the HANA system here, I'm just going to write it inside this update dictionary xsjs only.
Yeah, so basically the second service, we are going to show you a different way to access those data of HANA table. So either you can create a procedure and call the procedure within the xsjs service, or you can directly write your SQL statement, the native SQL statement within the service itself.
Yes.
So let's also do that.
Yeah, this is kind of showing that one, like where we are not basically calling the procedure, we are directly calling the query and getting it. Like I said, we have prepare call here.
Yeah.
We will be having prepare statement here. So what we can just do is copy all of this right here, because the rest of the things would be same apart from the query part, and we can just remove it from here. We don't even need the result set. We just need to perform and execute here. So we can just remove all of this. Okay, so inside this we'll be updating our query, but our query would differ depending on whether we want to update the positive or the negative table. So we'll have if id equals 1.
So one thing which I would like to also highlight here is here we are reading the data, right?
Yeah.
We have used a single service just to keep the development short. If you're doing it on a real project, you should create individual service for individual actions. So in this case, we are just kind of copying it out, pasting it out, just because we will have to start the UFF development and finish it fast. So we are just doing it within one service call, and based on other arguments, it will identify what particular procedures or database SQL statement to be run.
So also the thing is, we'll be not stopping here. Like this would not be the only HANA webinar.
Yeah.
We'll be covering it in the future webinars too, like some more advanced topics here. So we have the select statement right here. We will just put all the escape sequences wherever we have the double quotes.
So we are doing it in a way so that the string will not really take double quote as end of the string, and we'll say it is a part of the string actually.
Yes.
So we have to do it for all double quotes.
Yeah, but once done, it's fine. So if the ID is 1, we have to get it from the positive table, and if it is not, then shift home. So just go and paste it here and change the positive to negative. And here we have, sorry, variable rs equal to cst.getResult. We'll be removing the set string and set integer here, because we are not really passing any argument.
We're just reading the same query which we executed previously in the console. We are using that and just executing using services. Nothing fancy.
So here we'll be using this rs.next, and the result will be putting in the data. And since we have already selected our query, we can just put the result here, and when we get this response on our front-end logic, we can just see which ID we have sent, and depending on that we can update the specific result right there in the front end. Okay, and apart from doing this, we also have to update the body here. Body, not baddie. So it will be stringified version of our data.
Yeah, so all the data which we get, which is actually number actually, how many count, and then that we are just stringifying. So you will get that as a string in UI5. So you have to also do convert into number operation if you're just finding it in the tile.
Yes, like we can do it in the UI level basically.
Yeah.
And we can have a similar catch statement right here too.
So
save it.
Yeah.
So again, it should be triple equal to and not double equal to. So we have it right there, and we can
activate it. I think we need to.
Yes, we also need to activate it.
So one of the things which you always forget while SAP UI5 to HANA development, you forget to activate and like just
but
kind
once
of
if
fresh.
you do it a lot of times, it kind of gets in your head. Like it's like putting a semicolon while running a state while writing a code.
Yeah.
So we have written this. We can go ahead and
test it
out. So we have already put a lot of things in the positive table. So why don't we go ahead and put something in the negative table?
Yeah.
So it's like hurt. So we can just put it.
And we can just check again.
Yeah.
No news use good news, hopefully.
Yeah, the body should have come there, but it did not for some reason.
So let's go in console and see.
Inspect element. We go to the console log. Yeah, failed to load resource. The server responded with a status of 400 bad request. So the reason we are getting this is because, well, you're not really authorized to do it.
Yeah.
We can just go to the network tab and see whether we got a response or not.
So if you go to the update service here, I think where the red marks is there. So this is something of a debugging, how a UI developer will handle it. And then it will get an idea about it's getting a 400 on the HUD. And then like you have to check your database table as well. If your
response and the status code was 400.
So if you go to the database table now.
Yeah, we can also go ahead and check whether.
So you have to actually see if you.
So we can just refresh it. So we are going to look into the negative table here.
So basically by this query, what we are trying to do is we are trying to update. The HUD is already there.
HUD is already there.
Yeah.
And the count is also 2. So basically it was updated, but we didn't get any response.
Yeah. I think what is happening here is when you say update dictionary xsjs, this calls which we are writing are for reading the count of the tweets.
Yes.
So the count of the tweets are for the KPI tiles.
Yes.
So you call the service if you go to the browser there. So you call the service with an ID and a word.
Yes.
So you have to separate it which particular part of my xsjs should be loaded here. So if you go to the service, there are like in the first part, the try catch is there, which is responsible for uploading the value in the database table. And this is the second part of the xsjs service where we are actually reading those value. So you have to separate this with maybe ID equal to 3, you can say. If the ID is 3, then it gives the count. So that is something which you have to ask for a separator here.
But what I intended here to do was like update it and give me back the result.
Yeah.
Like right after that, because it's right in the control.
Yeah. So basically if you go down here, then you can identify it with the result set. So you can try to update your body with we can check if the rs.next is anything. So the one thing which you will have to actually understand while creating your xsjs services, the first way to debug is you need to check rs.next and
whether we are getting rs.next.
Yeah, so that is the first thing in debugging.
Add a body here. So it can be json.stringify rs.next. So we can just comment it out, save it. We can go here rather than adding we can just keep the words empty here that the update procedure is not called, but this is called. So we can just call this and it says 500 internal server error.
So it's you have missed $1. If you go back in the service, if you try to execute the service which was working, you have to kind of activate it.
Yes, I forgot to activate it.
Yeah, so that's But if you go to here,
Do a refresh here.
if I go back,
Go back here.
yeah, so you are able to get that particular word, because I think the word was missing and it was giving not able to execute it properly.
Yes, I tried to access Word and
Yeah,
there was nothing there.
and then you have not taken care of in the try catch statement also.
Yes. So if I
So
do this, yes, we are not getting any bad request here, but
Yeah.
we are getting result. So what's the query parameters were this? No, we didn't get a response either.
yeah, so if you go to the xsjs code now, yeah, so basically we have the prepare call query and execute con dot the con dot commit will come after get result, I think. Yeah,
This is what I missed, right? This is a statement.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the problem with copy and paste.
yeah,
Right here. And I don't think I need to do a commit.
yeah, because this is directly we are writing an SQL statement within the HANA table, not calling any procedure. So it should be prepared statement, and then like we just kind of get the results right after we execute the prepared statement.
So let's activate it again. And then rerun it.
So still there's some issue. So we can, I think this time let's see what is the error. 400 bad requests again.
Are we getting a response? No, we're
No.
not.
So let's go back. Service and try to identify statement, the spelling. Check, make sure the spelling are execute, just get results set. Let's start next. Yeah, I think it's close.
So why don't we just do all of this and see whether we are getting a result or not.
Yeah. So this is the first way to debug any of the service. You have to check if rs.next is false or true, and we are not getting anything. So it seems like the query is falling before it actually enters this. So
how about we don't execute it and just see whether we are getting the query here. So instead of rs.next,
just passing the query. So you will be getting a string of whatever you are executing on your HANA database. The second step, if that doesn't solve the issue.
and we don't have a CST there. Receive it. So let's go ahead and create a UI5 application here. So we go to new, file, new.
So to create the UI5 app, you can the same process, file, new, others, and UI5.
So we just have to select the application project here and we give it a name. So since this is Twitter sentiment analysis, so we'll just name it TSA, and I choose the sap.m library here, and I want to create it with an initial view. So I'm just going to keep this option as checked. And since we'll be using the KPI tiles here, so let's just name our view as detail view, and click on next, and you will get a summary of everything that is going to be associated with this project, basically a summary of this project, and you can go ahead and click on finish here. So this will go create a new, so it will ask you whether you want to open it in Java EE perspective, because this is kind of associated with it. But since we are going to make it a part of our current project, that's why we are not going to open the Java EE perspective. We'll stay in the HANA development perspective. So we have this TSA right here. So what we need to do is share it into our HANA project that we have created. So we'll just go to team and select share project. And we will be selecting SAP HANA repository here. And since, okay, so we just need to select which workshop do we want to add it to. So we need to add our own workspace. So this is our system. So our workspace root would be, we can just browse it. Shop session A00. Yeah, it's right here. And we are going to create a new folder here, say UI, because it will come under UI, and we are going to click on OK. So then we are going to click on finish. So since it is under workshop.session.a.01, we can just go ahead and select it and click on finish package. So we have workshop session A, we have 03, and then we have UI. So we can just select the UI part here, and it will create the repository package name as workshop.session.a.03.ui.tsa, and then we can click on finish here. So yeah, as you can see, if we collapse this one and open our UI, we'll have a folder inside UI called TSA, and we'll have the web content right here, and we'll have index.html, detailview.controller.js, and detailview.view.js. So first of all, we'll be working with view.js here. So we open this file, and we need to put all the view content right here. So we'll have the two KPI tiles. If I go to the Chrome and show the final app here, we'll have two KPI tiles, positive sentiment and negative sentiment, right here. And then we'll have the two input components right here. So let's go back to HANA development environment and update the view.js file. So we'll be working inside the create content file, because this is where we actually put all the components and return it to our index.html page, so that it can be put inside the content div. So the first thing that we are going to place here is a KPI tile. So the first thing that comes here is our numeric content. So numeric content would actually contain the number of our positive data analysis result. So variable O positive content equals new sap.suite.ui.commons.numeric content. So this will just contain a value. So this value can be, this value is going to be something that we bind from the data that we receive from our HANA server. So for now, I'm just going to put it as 0 or maybe 1, so that we are able to test it out in our Chrome browser. And then we need to put this numeric content, but even before we do that, just so that we don't forget it, we also need to put this sap.suite.ui.commons library in our index.html page. So we'll just open our index.html page. So as you can see, we have only sap.m library loaded here. So we'll also add sap.suite.ui.commons so that we are able to access components that are placed inside this library. So it's just going to save it. I don't think we need to do any more changes in our index.html file. So I'm just going to activate it and close it. So as you can see, we have value 1. So once we have this positive content, we need to place it inside a tile content, which will go inside a generic tile. So we'll create a generic tile. So variable o positive generic tile positive gt equals new sap.suite.ui.commons dot generic tile. So this will have a header. This will contain the header that says positive sentiment basically. So header equals positive sentiment. Then we'll have the tile content. So it will be an array containing all the content that goes inside this generic tile. So as I said, numeric content would be contained inside tile content, which will go inside generic tile. So inside generic tile, we are putting the tile content. So new sap.suite.ui.commons dot tile content, and then in the footer we can put something that denotes maybe the unit of it. Like say you are having some data for distance, then you can put miles or kilometers or something like that. So since this is a positive sentiment, I'll just put a positive sign here so that it's straight away visible to us that yeah, we are dealing with some positive content. And inside this will go another content, and this content will be our numeric content. So we have created an object for it that's called o positive content. So this will go inside this. Now this generic tile would go inside custom tile, and the custom tile would be placed in our page. So variable o positive equals new sap.suite.ui.commons dot custom tile. So custom tile is what is a part of sap.m library, because these custom tiles are responsive. That's why it is part of sap.m. sap.m library contains all the components that are responsive, so that you can view it on different screen sizes. And this custom tile contains our data, that is generic tile, tile content, and numeric content, and those are part of sap.suite.ui.commons. So inside this custom tile, we are just going to put a content that is going to be o positive gt. So once we have this tile created for positive, what we can do is place this tile in our page and see whether it's coming or not. So I'm just going to activate view.js, go to team, go to activate, and I'm also going to activate my controller.js. So what we need to do next is open this index.html page from our browser. So sorry, we are right here. So session 3/UI slash we have TSA, then we have web content, then we'll have index.html. So if we go to console, it says that it was there was a reference error to SAP. Well, that is because since we have created this UI5 project and then we have shared it inside the HANA repository, that's why it is not able to take this source that is by default provided by UI5 development environment. So we need to modify this source a bit so that it is able to take so that it is able to load this SAP UI code.js file. So this is present inside. You can directly give the URL, or you can also refer to your SAP HANA development environment wherever it is present. So what we are going to do is https:// we are directly going to refer it to like publicly accessible SAP UI core.js library. So SAP UI5.hana.ondemand.com/resources/SAP UI core.js. So we'll save it, we'll activate it, and then go to our browser and refresh it. So as you can see, we have positive sentiment right here, and we gave the value as 1 and the footer was positive. So just close it. Now we also need to put negative sentiment tile. So all we need to do is copy and paste it right there. So we go to detail view, and we have already created the positive tile. We can just copy it all and paste it here and change every positive right here to negative. Then we have negative here too. So yeah, the header would change too. So we can just save it, put it inside the page again. So we can do that, and we also need to place 2 input boxes right there. Okay, let's go ahead and put the input boxes. Variable O input 1 or O input positive, so that you know this box is for positive input. So it's new SAP.m.input, and then we have the placeholder here, which is so enter positive keyword and press enter to submit. And whenever we are pressing enter and submitting it, it should call a function that would in turn call our xsjs service. So submit will take 2 parameters inside an array. So the first one would be the reference to the function that we are calling. So it can be add positive keyword, and then the second would be the reference to the controller itself. Similarly, we'll have for the negative keyword, negative O input negative, and then it will call the other function add negative. So we can save it, and also we won't be putting the O positive and O negative custom tile directly in the page. Let's put it inside a tile container, and we'll put the tile container on the page. So we can have variable O tile container equals new sap.m.tile container, and we can put the tiles in here. So O positive comma O negative, and we'll be putting this tile container inside the page first, and then we'll have the positive one, and then we'll have the negative input box. So what we'll also do here is change the width of these input boxes so that they don't come one after the another, they come side by side in the same line. So we can also define the width here, that's 50%, and we can have the same width for the negative one. And if I activate our view.js now, go and refresh it. Okay. As you can see, we have these two tiles, and we have it's in the bottom of the window. So what we can do is have a height for this tile container, and let's make it something like 45%, so that it doesn't push the input boxes right in the end of our window. If I do a refresh, you need to do a hard refresh because it stores the JavaScript in its cache, and every time you refresh it, it refers to the same JavaScript file. Okay. So yeah, the height is 45% for the tile container. Yeah, I forgot to activate it, and that's why it was not showing me the input boxes on top of the window that I have. Now, as you can see, we have the input boxes right here. So the next thing that we can do is go ahead and...
So in the SQL procedure, when I check my sys access, we are not able to update the table because there are already two records, and then they already have been created. For example, if you go to the command line where we are executing the SQL,
yes.
Yeah, so here we are saying sys access SQL connections, because we already are having this connection 03 anonymous access, and set username equal to Naika. The only difference is where name it is actually package ID. So if you see the name, I cannot show you the table because it holds some sensitive data.
Okay.
But basically what we are having is set name. Instead of that, if we can have a name updated to access, and then where username equal to question marks. So set username is equal to Naika, where 03, because this is already existing, workshop.session.03 anonymous access, where name, can you make the name capital there?
Which name?
This name.
Okay.
Column name, yeah.
Column name. Okay.
name, and then here username, and then try to execute. I think there will be still an error, hopefully. Invalid column. Name, where name, give a space after each, space here. Space here and space after name also, and then there also.
Does it make
I don't think, just kind of just be as per this best practice. Set user name equal to Nika, where name equal to invalid column name, workshop session. So it's taking
it's not an invalid column name, is it?
We are not passing anonymous access is a value. It shouldn't be a column name. So if you open because if you see here, set username equal to Nika, can you do a select query in that particular table? Select star from this table where I think that you can keep there.
Select
star from this table name. You can just copy the table name here. That's the table name. This table name.
Okay.
Where and just keep the where the same. Where name
equals this. Okay.
And then you can
just run this.
Separate file. So remove this one, the first one. Remove the first one. Remove the first one. And then run it.
It will still show me the error.
Select star from sysbig. Just select star from sysbig.
Like where name equals this.
Like this. Just remove it because then.
We have it, right?
But don't show this data.
Okay.
So basically what we need to do is the query is not written properly. It's not able to identify. Now you can just, because the data is, the table is correct. Could do a Control Z.
I kind of did that.
Again do a Control Z. Okay, so basically we have to write where properly. Select star from where name equal to update, set username equal to where. I think if you are able to figure this out properly, then I think it will also work. Even I think select query should come here.
Okay.
Name like, you can just ask.
Name like. It's still not running it. So do you think instead of update we can use execute or something?
I think most probably where we are using the where is not able to identify it. So we need to just update the SQL connection table, and if you the problem is executes set name equal to where name like the invalid column name workshop session. It's taking name as the last string as a column name. So if you just try to see, I think there's something which is missing there.
Do you think I need to put a bracket here?
No, I don't think that you require a bracket there.
Okay, what if
okay, you don't need to get that. update, spelling of update is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to can you put it in the next line maybe?
Which one?
The workshop, I think.
Will that make a difference?
I don't think, because I think it's why it's not able to. We are writing a proper skill statement here. It should make sense because we got the select star update.
Yes.
Yeah, invalid column name, where name equal to. Okay, execute. It's not giving a. Again, it's not saying.
Yeah.
So basically, what we are trying to access is services here.
Yes.
So if we try to, can you open the services, because one part was running there. So if you,
If I go to update dictionary.xsjs.
And here if you try to run it from the browser. So /0
update dictionary.xsjs.
Is the spelling correct?
I think there is some problem here.
Because we were able to open it.
Connection.
The spelling of the service is correct?
Yeah, update dictionary.
Because we just opened it previously, so it should have picked up that, right?
Dictionary XSJS. Okay, we are not sending the ID and the.
Okay. Dictionary XSJS question marks ID equal to 0 and word equal. Can you check the path of the service? Is it correct? Can you try to push it again? Like, see, do a small space, add a small space, and just try to push it there again.
Okay.
Session 04 it is?
Well, that's the name in my local computer.
Okay, if you go in the repository, what is the name which we are having? A repository.
Yeah, workshop.session.
This is the table name. And if you go to the second tab, yeah. Yeah.
So this is our main package, workshop session A.
03, yeah. So now if you check here, session A, workshop dot session A dot 03 dot update dictionary dot xsjs.
Yes.
So we need to pass the ID and words, right?
Yeah.
That's the two things which we need to pass. We spell that correct.
Update dictionary dot xsjs. NARY.
Yeah. So can you get back to the position where we just were able to update those services, not really perform the read operation?
I can just
delete this particular part, or maybe just copy it anyway.
I'll
A comment, yeah.
Yeah. So I can save it. I think it's working fine here. So I can just go ahead and activate it. You can try running it again.
So maybe some word. No. So can you check? Maybe my spelling is wrong. Workshop. It's workshop 00 or just workshop?
Just workshop.
Yeah.
Sessiony 03.
Sessiony 03. Yeah. Update dictionary. Yeah. Check. Previously we were able to access those services. Now if you could.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of went through.
Yeah. So basically what we are going to do is create a different service for reading those requests, which is actually the way it is to be done.
Yes.
We should never try to do two things with one service. Like that is one learning which we can take from this webinar. Try to create one more service to read that record.
Yes, let's go ahead and create another service. So new file. So this is going to be the xsjs service. So xs javascript file going to create, and the file name would be
read sentiment.
Read sentiment.
So this is going to just read those values. Sentiment, yeah. Finish.
So we have this xsjs.
Yeah.
Now we can just
update,
copy
yeah.
and paste it from there.
And then nothing. Yeah, we just need to put it there. And now
I'll need an ID here.
Yeah. So we just copy. Yeah. So we don't need an ID and all because we're not taking anything. We're just going to return the two positive, negative sentiments. We can do that.
Like both of them?
Yeah. Or maybe I think just like have a one ID. Yeah. To identify if it is a 0, then it's which one.
We'll have body equals
Nothing. Yeah.
nothing. And we'll remove the data from here.
Yeah.
We don't need it here.
Yeah, and then here I think yeah. So if we see here I think the session A00 is the table name, not the 03, because the table we have not created. We have used the same table. If we see.
Tables we have created, right?
Tables we have created in 00, it seems like.
No, we have created in 00 for testing purposes of our own, and 03 is for this one. Anyways, we tried running it on SQL query. So
can you check with 00 also running. Because maybe we have some issues with 00. Yeah, the previous tables. Yeah. Or maybe I think we can just kind of
will it have access to those tables?
Yes, why not?
So we can save it
and
activate it.
So basically you will be returning what?
We'll just be sending the ID here.
Yeah, and then the service name is new.
I'll just copy paste it from there.
So much spelling mistakes can happen. Actually, read sentiment.
I'll just have to write it down.
Yeah, I think you can just do right click and rename and you can copy it from there.
Read sentiment. It wasn't sentiments.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's
giving me some server error.
Have you activated it? Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
So we get the ID. We get the database connection. I think the database connection we have to pass some of the parameters. It seems.
Yeah, we need to pass
anonymous SQL, yeah.
Yeah, but it is not getting updated. Once it gets updated, we can actually put it there. So that
Can you run this particular just kind of give back in yes, I think here the try to just return the query. I think you don't need to write that now because we have not been able to create that. So what I need from this service is just to give me a query in the body and don't run anything. Okay. So that is kind of how you debug a services. You return only the query just to verify what is
data.
Yeah.
I'm just saying query.
And activate it. Yeah, you're not able to reach it actually. So, are you sure that the spelling is correct? Session
sentiment, yes.
Because basically this is reads. Where is the update sentiment? The other, yeah. Do right click and rename the above one. Yeah, the above one. Rename this. Rename. Yeah, and then copy the name. Then, yeah, copy.
So I'll just copy this. Cancel this one.
Yeah, so basically it's not able to read that as well.
I think the problem is that one only. We actually don't have permission to do a select on.
Yeah, but then we are just have commented out now. We are just kind of should return the query itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you see here, if you just
so I was just thinking instead of update,
if you go to the read sentiment here, yeah, and here we are just kind of giving the query out. We are not doing anything fancy. Or just write something in the query, maybe any string.
The first one.
Yeah, and then just hello, just to kind of make it and close the connection itself. Don't open the database connection. So we're just kind of taking out all the parts so it.
So that we can actually
track where the error is. Now the
so, yeah, there is no connection. So
yeah, so now if you activate it,
I can just have the response rate.
Activate.
Let's activate this one.
Then this is.
We also need to activate this one. Let's go and test it out. But this time it didn't give an error, though it said a bad request.
So when we are able to read the, if you give me this, when we were able to read the previous query and not this query, then I think it's sketchy because you were able to read the previous service, but you're not able to read this service. So there is not much difference. You can easily find out that we have done something very simple. You can just kind of remove the ID as well. Line number 5, just comment it out. Because like all the moving part of a service, we are taking it out and then kind of activate.
Let's go here. Okay. Let's just remove these things also.
Just kind of this particular thing. Or maybe just comment out the line number 11 also. And then write something high, maybe something like, yeah.
Just here.
Yeah, and then activate it. And then just.
Or maybe it's already a string. Why are we string?
Anyway, I think it will not give an error there. Yeah. So, activate. Yes. So now, if you just go in. Yeah. Now, if you are able to see.
We are not passing any ID. Just remove that too. And it's not going through there too.
Though if you see the response, just check. So try to call the first service. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dictionary?
Yeah. I think this is kind of doesn't make sense because and we will compare the URL side by side.
Word equals verse.
The idea is that is the URL correct? Copy the URL.
I removed the authentication part, right?
But then update was being called previously.
No, since the authentication is null and this is an anonymous connection, I think that is the reason it is not like trying to. It is not giving us the access.
Okay.
So if I change the authentication back to how it was.
Yeah.
We will have the access here. So I'll just activate it. Exactly. It worked nicely.
No, it's logging you actually.
Yeah.
It will come username and password now. Now it will kind of check for the service. See.
So it gave me 404.
So you have to because it worked previously.
Yeah,
so
we can actually go ahead and check our table, right? Whether it was updated or not.
No, I think yeah, you can just the table catalog table,
Yeah. So that we know even if we are getting a 404 error, was it updated in our table? So I was updating my negative table.
So if you try to insert
No.
Because previously we were able to get those values within the tables, right?
Yes.
But this time it's not. So I think what problem you have is you have to go to the browser and then you have to check the URL because I think you are putting the URL incorrectly there. So because you have to copy this URL and you have to compare in a notepad that if it is right or wrong. Because workshop previously we just saw that particular service running and now it is not running. So the only thing is that you have kind of put the URL wrong. So
okay, we can actually check it with our
history.
No, I'm saying we can check it out with our other the test one, right?
Yeah.
So we just have to change it from 03 to 00.
I think the main thing is we just got the update dictionary service working out. So why it is not working out here? So if you go back, if you go to the history, I think we just kind of made it work. So
okay.
Go back. I think this is where
I think it was here. This one.
Yeah. Go back. Yeah, it's kind of working. See.
Yeah.
What is the difference here? I think we are putting S there, HTTPS.
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, it will kind of ask you for authentication. Yeah, HTTPS.
HTTPS is the problem here.
Yeah, so try to read also now. Read. Just remove everything because we have not even considered the ID. Okay, it is kind of not giving the body. Let's see. Is we have an issue? Console network, yeah. I think it's S, which is kind of okay. Get it there.
But it's still showing me bad request.
Yeah, the update one worked.
Yeah.
But this one is not working, and I think there is nothing done in the service itself, which means that what it infers to. It infers to that there is a very small thing which is kind of going wrong here. So if you just say hi.
So let's remove the complete try and catch.
Yeah, and then just kind of
give a body.
Just give it a body maybe, and then you have to set the body as also because if you go down, yeah.
I missed a semicolon. I missed it here. Okay, and save it. refresh it.
I think we have to do response.setBody. Can you open and just add response.setBody? Yeah. Just $.response set body, and then you just kind of just have any string there, no? Oh yeah. Set and activate. Yeah. Refresh it. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, what we have to do is now just try it out, uncommenting all the other stuff. I think you have not updated response.setBody, it seems like.
Yes, that's kind of the error, even I think so.
Dot response dot.
So instead of query, I'll just put data here. Makes sense?
Yeah, semicolon in the set body. Yeah. This is use strict, which we normally write explicitly. It is automatically inside the HANA services. Yeah. I think it will give 500.
No, I have to give an ID to
one. Yeah. Oh, this is 500. Yeah.
bad request.
Yeah. Just try to return query here. Yeah. This is a prepared statement and query. Yeah. I think you don't need to mention here the schema actually. Tweets.
Do we not need to mention the schema?
I think you can mention it also. Like it depends. You can always mention.
Shall I try remove?
Yeah. Just remove it. But I think that might not be the error because it's a bad request. Yeah.
Might be the error.
If you scroll down let me see the entire things. Yeah. Okay. Statement execute query execute result set. Just return RS star. Yeah. Just query. Yeah. Still you're not able to do it. 400, which is kind of internal server error. Yeah, bad request. Sorry. So if you go, is it like run on HTTPS? Can you check again?
I don't think it's.
Yeah, it's done on HTTPS.
How did it change?
Still, I think the error is 400. Yeah. So the port was identifying it. Okay, so let's go back here and check the spelling now. If we have,
it is 03.data, right?
Yeah.
I'm working on. I don't think it will have access to 00.
Activate it.
Sorry. Well, let's leave the same error.
Yeah, so if you go to the Eclipse, we are going to finish it. That is the bottom line. And if we go to the connection here, I think we have done some small mistake here. Query equal to something, if equal to 1. Okay, just comment out this execute part. Prepare statement, yeah.
These two? Like all of these.
Yeah. And then just send it, yeah. And close it. And con also. This con.close. Okay, you can just kind of keep it. I think con you can just keep it because there's nothing
wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm still getting the same thing.
Okay, activate it. Yeah, see, select count
Getting the
from workshop 0. Okay. 3 will locate equal to tweet inverts equal to.
like if it is 1, I'll get it as positive.
Yeah.
So there is some problem with CST.
Yeah. So basically, we have to identify if you have run prepare pre PARE statement.
Let's do it one at a time.
Yeah.
So it's instead of
execute get result set.
Let's get rs dot next. They're getting it.
Yes. Yeah, it was true. So we have some, I think the rs dot get integer is kind of just failing. So
I don't think this is failing. I think $response dot status equal 200 is failing.
Okay, there's no 200.
Yeah, I think it's the.
It may be you cannot hard code it. Yeah.
You cannot hard code it. Maybe it doesn't take the data type as string. That was the error.
Okay, now we are getting a false. Have you
no,
activated?
Because I have already done a
okay, yeah.
And I need to send back the data.
Yeah.
And
so the error was the status was the wrong code. Okay, so where you always cover the debugging part.
The result is 541.
Now integrated with our UI5. So it's always the case that you have to go in an approach where you're going to the minimalistic code and then from there start building up and reaching to like where we
getting the result is 99.2.
Yeah. So let's put it in the UI5 application and finish this. Finally.
So we have this UI5 application developed here. So all we need to do is add the controller part there. So where's the controller? Yes. So we are going to be working with the onInit function here. So inside onInit function, we'll have the initial data, data equals. So we'll have the positive value for this one. So initially I'll keep it to 0 when the value hasn't loaded yet. Okay. Then we are going to define the model. Model equals new sap.ui.model.json model, and then I'm going to set it to my core UI component sap.ui.get core.set model, and then we are going to pass in the name of the model model, and then model dot set data data. Yes. So once we have the data defined, we can just go back to our view.js and change the value here, so that instead of 1 we are doing a data binding here. So since positive content has positive value, so it will be pos value, and similarly for the negative content we'll have neg value. So we save it and we save this one too. So we can just activate them both and see, or what we can do is put here 3 and put 4 here and activate it and see whether we are getting 3 and 4 in our UI, so that we validate whether our I think I have to do a hard refresh here. Yes, we are getting 3 and 4. So
hard refresh is Control Shift F5.
Yeah, Control Shift F5. So since we know that our data binding is working perfectly fine, we can just go ahead and create those two functions that we have created in Vue for both the input and input pause and negative pause.
So initially also we can do a Ajax call here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing an Ajax call just after we create this. So after we have created this function add pause, so it will be giving us the event that has occurred, that was like the submit event, like after inputting the variable. So we'll get the value first, so it will be o event dot get source dot get value, and then we are going to call the update function. So we'll be creating a function for that as well. And what we are also going to do is clear that value that we had. Yes. So once we have these two functions ready, the next thing that we are going to do is update
Tile.
No, not the tiles, the table.
Yeah, update
So
table.
update table. So we'll have the function, and we'll have the first one would be the ID, and then we'll have the word, or let's just keep it word and ID, because that's how we have been doing it. And then there would be a retrieve data, that kind of retrieve the data once the update has finished, and it will take ID. So update table would like this. So we'll have the URL first of all. So URL is going to be HTTP.
You can copy it.
Yeah, we can just go here and copy it.
I think the first tab. Yeah, okay.
Let's copy it. Paste it here. Slash, since this is update table, so update dictionary we will be calling, and then we'll be passing in the ID.
Update dictionary.xsjs.
.xsjs.
Yeah.
Plus ID plus and word equals plus word.
There will be double and, I think.
Well, it doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
So once we have the URL, then we can get the
Ajax
model and data, and then we'll do the Ajax call. So, but since this is only updating the table, so we just need to do the Ajax call, $.ajax, and then we are going to pass in the URL. I want it to be async.
So you have to write it in some.
Async true is true. Then data type is JSON. Then the type of call is get. And then
you have to write success.
Success.
Yeah. And then we will get the
function. And then we'll have the error. And since this is just an update, so we won't be getting any function. We can just have a console log here.
Yeah, I think you can just kind of write it down directly, because we are running out of time. You can just kind of say
copy and paste it in
exactly.
the read sentiment one. Yeah, actually we are going way out of time, so I'm just
why you are copying this one? I think this is a xsjs call. You have to go to the controller. I think you are writing in that. Yeah. Now you have to just update the model here.
Yeah, but since this is the update dictionary function, I'm not getting any data as such.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it was success.
Yeah.
and every time there is a success, I'm going to call this retrieve data function. So this dot retrieve data will be calling and with the same ID.
Yeah, I can just kind of copy, then we can just copy the Ajax call, then and semicolon is missing. We can just keep it afterwards.
The semicolon right there. Yeah, and instead of update dictionary, we'll be having a read sentiment.
Yes.
And we'll just have the ID here, not the word.
Yeah, ID. I think we have to do 2 calls because then it's one for the positive and then one for negative.
But we are getting the ID, so
we
are kind of passing the ID here. Yeah. And for the first time, whenever we are initializing it,
we need to do it.
We are also going to call it.
Okay.
Retrieve data with the
1 and 0 both.
Yeah, we are going to call it with 0, and we are also going to call it with 1.
Yeah. And then we have to also copy that particular model. We are just kind of updating the global model with the OData.
Yes, since we are having the OData here, so I'm just going to put some checks here. We know the format of the result that we are going to get. So if OData, if ID equals 0.
You can also put a check in OData not defined. So OData, not OData. If not OData, then I think
return.
Just return, yeah. So that's okay, I think, yeah.
If ID equals 0, then I have to copy it to. Okay, so we'll need 2 things here.
Yeah. I think we can just use get model instead of okay because if it's first time, but you can get model, yeah.
And we'll have our OData also. So that will be equal to omodel dot
get data.
Yeah, so if ID equals 0, then I'm going to populate the negative result. So OData of, well, I think OData UI is going into the UI, so string it UI of neg value will be equal to,
we have to do JSON, yeah,
result.
And then we have to in a way get the stringified parsed version.
Okay, we have,
because this will be string,
JSON.parse,
and then you have to get the string
of OData.
Yeah, I think it was correct. So if you kind of do Control Z, yeah.
So I'm going to parse the OData and the result that I get.
Yeah, first of all, yeah.
Result.
So
I think that would work. And then I'm going to set my model with the new data. Dot set data data UI, and then I'm going to do a model.
Refresh. So this is just for 0. We can do the same thing for 1 also. We can just copy paste.
It. So instead of neg value, we'll have pause value. Well, I think that kind of completes it.
Let's activate it. Yeah, I think there will be no error, but I think our applications should work. Yeah, this is the new application. Yeah. So let's see in the browser console there might be some service call error. Yeah, issues 3.
Unexpected token O in JSON position 1.
What is line number?
57, I guess.
If you just press there, yeah, here.
No, line 57.
Yeah. 57 is, I think you have to write it inside. Yeah. Activate. Yeah.
We're getting the results.
Yeah.
So if I enter a positive keyword, say awesome,
Anything.
I can put awful here. Awful.
I think awful might not be there. Okay, excellent.
Angry.
Angry also. Positive, try to give a positive maybe. Or maybe check in the table if it is kind of loading, then I think that is kind of right.
Yes. So we can just go ahead and check in the negative table.
There might not be tweets which is kind of matching there. Yes. 7
rows.
records. So we have.
I've heard thrice. Okay, I think I might need to refresh it. I do a data preview. It wasn't updated.
Can you see the service which we are calling? Because it's kind of just kind of updating. It's not a big deal. If you are going to the Eclipse, and if we go to the update, so are you calling the function?
Yes, I'm calling the function.
Yeah. No, not this one. The one where we are having the UEFI application. Yeah. So whenever we are.
Okay, we are not exactly calling the function. This dot table, since this is positive, I'm giving value and
1. Yeah. Semicolon. Yeah. 0
and 0.
And activated. Now if we go to here, refresh it. I think this time it will work because it's the only function. If you just give anything.
Say angry.
Okay, there was a bad request of because we are giving ID and then word angry. Just open it in the console. Just click here. Yeah, and like open in a new tab. Like, because the open in a new tab. Right click.
I think I know what the problem is. Now we have response status equal to
Okay.
here also.
So activate. Yeah.
So if I just run it again, because this one is calling, right? And it is getting the data. So we go with angry.
And I think it was run properly, and I think the table.
Yeah, it was run properly.
And then if you just see the table also.
So let's go ahead and check the table. Maybe it was no. There is no.
Yeah, angry. Yeah, we have angry.
You have angry.
Yeah. So you can just check the table also.
Yes. We have 10 values here. We have
angry 3 times. This
3 times.
Yeah. So we got. I think we can start. This is the final app where we glad. I think was already there, but maybe happy. Good. We have.
Yeah, we have.
Great. Yeah, maybe something like cool.
Yeah, it's saying only update dictionary.xsjs was called. I think what's happening here is, well, I think I know the error here. So, OData, are we getting it was a success? We can check that out.
In the other tab, yeah.
Other tab, console. No, we are not
Yeah.
really getting it. We have to send a body, right, as a response.
But then it's still a success message.
Dollar response dot set body. Please send something, right?
Yeah, success. You can just kind of hardcode there.
Success.
And you can activate it. So I think this updated in a way.
Yeah, this has been updated because
of the initial call. Yeah. So we didn't got it. So I think this going to UI5, and if you go to controller, yeah. So if you see update table, you have the URL. It was success. What is the URL which we are actually querying? Can you just run that particular URL in browser?
yes.
I think you can just get it from the browser. What you actually run.
Yeah. So
You can see in the network console. See in the network console what you actually got. Yeah, here the network console. What is the past history which we queried? Yeah. It is a success. Yeah.
it is saying success.
And then
Coming
try to refresh.
Also set status code of okay.
Okay. You are
As a
not doing
response.
a update after that, right? You are not updating the data binding.
I'm actually updating.
Is it
I'm
calling
just
it?
calling this function this dot retrieve data, but it is not also printing this console.log.
Is this has access to that this? Because maybe you can just kind of do a console log here if this particular function is called.
No, it's not getting called because we are not also getting
Okay.
this. It was a success.
Yeah, it
console
was
log,
success.
right?
It's not also, but in a way, try to check the URL here again.
http hana.skybuffer.com workshop session A03. But the dictionary is getting updated, right?
And try to do it with a different word. Just say Ajay. Try to check. Ajay is uploaded. And that's.
And I got a success again. Got a response to.
So you try to put Ajay in the positive table. Hello. Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah.
So if you see the positive table here.
So it says the data type is JSON, right?
Yeah.
So is it because we are not passing a JSON data here?
Because I think if we are getting a positive, and yeah, hello is kind of getting updated there.
Yes.
Set body, just kind of remove it like response dot. I think you can also have that set type is equal to plain.html.
Yeah, instead of JSON we can
have just type. In get request, I think we were able to get it. Content type equal to text / plain. It's plain, yeah. Not this one. I think this is
update table.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I think this is kind of you do it in the update table also dictionary. Is included type get success this error this everything's cool. Just kind of put it there again. Yeah. We need to just put the console there. Yeah. That nothing. Yeah. So if you go to the UI5 app, so we are able to query it properly. In the error, try to do a console log. At least something should be shown.
Yeah.
Console.log.
Console.
Yeah. You can just say anything.
It will just come in the red color.
Yeah. Activate.
So just activate it.
Neither there, neither. So in a way we are getting it. You have to go inside your service, update dictionary. Yeah, and then you have to say response.content type text / plain. And then you have to set body, yeah. Content type. Equal to, I think you have to, this is a variable which we kind of say, and then yeah, you can also set body, anything, yeah. Response. It doesn't matter because we're not reading it.
Set body.
Updated. Yeah, updated. Yeah. Yeah. So if just do anything. No, it was an error. So at least we are getting something. Yeah.
Work. It doesn't say it was an error.
It was getting a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we have to also see is whenever we are updating those, then I think we have to give that status as well. But we were able to get that thing updated.
Dot success. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just okay.
Are you sure? I'm not sure about it.
Yes, it says
Okay, okay, so it's good. Yeah, the value is updated there. You can see. Even if it is error, like you are getting that positive sentiment, like it's updated, like the value of the tile just got updated.
Yeah. I do glad.
Yeah, because I think glad is already there. Yeah, super, maybe write super.
It doesn't get.
I think it just did.
Yeah, because it was an error is in the error. But I'm calling this dot retrieve data from success.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a success. So I think what is happening now is, well, then we are getting those values. If I'm checking the tables here, I think you are getting those value updated. Let me check again. You have to go into the services again and check what are the part which is making it error. Yeah.
Still an error.
So the final thing is like we are will find, I think, what is the part, the service, which is making it not giving the success as. I think you have to.
What I feel is instead of keeping it plain, let's pass json.stringify.
Is it? I think it's already when calling the query, then it is.
So you can just pass this one, and here instead of plain, json again. I'm not trying to rerun it. Still giving me an error.
The update request. Okay. Okay. So if you open this, yeah, I think it is okay. The service is something which is kind of.
Shall I try to print what did
Yeah,
I get?
yeah.
There's an error.
Okay, status sticks. Okay.
Why am I getting this in the error?
Ready state is equal to 4, response text updated. Okay, state is equal to 200, state text is equal to, okay, so if you go to the service now, update dictionary, service, I think this is pretty okay here. Yeah, and I think something is missing here. So if that is okay. Okay. There is nothing in the body. Okay. Okay.
Is that a problem?
I don't think that will be an issue.
Yeah, and I don't think that is the issue here. It has been working really weirdly till now. So, see, it was a success.
Okay, it was a success.
Yeah, and then it says this dot retrieve data is not a function.
Okay, now I think we need to. Okay.
So, okay, this dot retrieve data ID is not a function.
Okay, so basically what you have to do is then you have to call that particular function, and when you want to call, maybe you can use directly.
What I can do is reference it to.
Yeah, that is equal to this. That equal to this. This.
Dot.
You can just say that equal to this.
Okay.
And then here use that. Yeah, this is kind of one way, and then yes, and I do it twice. This is update table.
Yeah. So if it works now, then I'll be really happy.
Yeah.
Success and
Yeah. So anyway, that is finally the webinar ends. The demo actually is completed. So we went through a lot of phases where we actually, it was planned, some were not planned, but we went through that, okay, how you can actually debug those service calls when you are getting error. And the real development, you are going to face a lot of challenges. And we tackled how you go back to a minimalistic code and come back to a scenario where you are actually getting success of that particular service. Then we have the same issue with a UEFI application where we went back to the minimalistic code and we tracked the bug. And this is very realistic scenario when you're doing development, and therefore we try to kept it. A lot of things were not planned, but actually some of them actually were planned. I hope that we were able to cover a lot of part which you might benefit from it. How to create entire dictionary sentiment analysis, and do check SkyBuffer website. They are having amazing portfolio of plant maintenance app. Go to hana.skybuffer.com/main, and there are a lot of applications which are specifically made for oil and gas sector. So with this, saying goodbye from UF5CN side. In the next webinar, we will again come up with an amazing use case. We will go and do development and show you all the realistic scenario which developers go through. So thank you for joining us live. My name is Vinayak.
And I'm Manasubhashe.
See you next time.